What's up guys, welcome back. Today we are covering events in Java Spring Boot. You use events when you want something to trigger something else. So an example would be when you transfer money, it automatically sends an email. Events are pretty straightforward to set up. All we need is number one, an event object. This will extend the application event, which is built into Spring Boot. We need an event publisher, and we will need to inject our application event publisher into this class. And we will need an event listener, which will implement the application listener. These are all things built into Spring Boot, which makes it really easy to create events. And our event isn't going to do anything. We're just going to print to the console, but I'll show you exactly where you would put code, where you would write your email, for example. Okay, let's get started. First off, create a new package. I'm going to call it event. Then create a new class called transfer event. This event will fire anytime we complete a transfer. It is going to extend the application event, and it will have a private transfer DTO called transfer DTO. Go ahead and generate your constructor, but you also need to set your transfer DTO. So this is whatever extra data you want in your event, and annotate it with a getter annotation to automatically generate our getter. So this will act as our event. Now let's create a new class, transfer event publisher. This will do the thing that actually publishes the event. We annotate it with @component. And for this to work, we need an application event publisher injected into our class, and we will use constructor injection. Okay, it's going to have one method, public void publish, and it will take in an object source and a transfer DTO. We then need to create a new event. So transfer event is equal to new transfer event, where we pass in the source and the transfer DTO. And then we call the application event publisher and we publish event, where we pass in our custom transfer event. And we need one more class. So new Java class, transfer event listener. This is the class that listens for the event and executes code anytime that event happens. We annotate it with @component, and it is going to implement the application listener. And in angle brackets, we say transfer event. Go ahead and implement the method on application event. And this is where you write your code to execute whatever you want to happen when this event happens. For example, send an email. In our example, we're just going to do some print line statements. Now our event does have a couple interesting things. So we're going to print the DTO, but you can also get the timestamp and get the source. So the source will tell you what class this was generated in. So lastly, we need to add this to our existing code. So go into a service class that you already have. You need to inject the transfer event publisher and then add it to your constructor if you're doing constructor injection. Then after all of my code has ran, I'm going to do a transfer event publisher.publish, where I pass in this, which is our source, and the transfer DTO object. I'm going to go ahead and run the code. And when I test it in Postman, I can see that our transfer event was handled. It prints out the information I wanted. It also tells me the source. So this was published in our transfer command handler. Okay guys, so that's it. Events really are that simple in Java Spring Boot. I'll see you in the next video.